Hi, it's your girl Sandra D from XOXO40, and today you are not going to want to miss this episode. Today we're talking about the missing love languages that nobody talks about. How many of you have thought about the traditional 5 love languages and felt like, wait, I'm more than that? Well, turns out you're not wrong. While touch, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service are the classics, we believe there's so much more to how we give and receive love. So we've expanded the list and we want to know what you think. Are we onto something or totally off? I have Chris here today to help me out. Chris, I believe food is a strong contender.
Well, you've got my vote on that one.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would vote on that one.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, food is such a central part of family life. It's a central part of entertainment. It's just, when you think about your first apartment, it was getting people over for dinner and that sort of thing. So food represents a really broad spectrum of things that connote love and attachment, and sincere attachment. Nutrition. So first of all, we want our kids to be healthy. We want our loved ones to be healthy. So nutrition plays a big part of it. I want to understand what I'm feeding my kids. We've all had that a long train of thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, and food it also represents love. I know that when my mom, if I'm ever angry with my mom, she'll put a plate of food in front of me, and I know that means I'm sorry. And so if I refuse the food, she knows that I'm still upset with her.
Yeah, and so nurturing, right? We use food as a nurturing, nurturing for sure. And I think, finally, and probably the big overlying concept of food is community. And as you know, there's a lot of cultures in the world that food is the cornerstone of community. And in fact, it's a major insult if you don't participate or come and
or eat. Or do the traditional way of eating with your hands or whatever it is. Yes, for sure.
We want to see some comments. We want people talking about food. Best experiences, that big dinner that you served that brought your family together, whatever it is, but let's share some stories in the comments about food.
If you agree or disagree. Okay, Chris, one more thing I wanted to say. When we are first born, our first food attachment is our mother's breast. So I'm wondering if there's some type of what is it? Basic instinct of love that comes with food.
I'm with you all the way on that one.
Yeah.
In fact, they say if you don't have that bonding experience, not necessarily breastfeeding, let's not go off on that one, but if you don't have that initial bonding experience with your mother and typically over that nurture, then it creates problems, emotional problems.
And it obviously not in every situation, and also it's not necessary for someone to breastfeed. It's your own choice, of course. This is just from our opinions. Now, next we have hobbies.
Wow. So the big thing that we think, why should hobbies be a love language? You could say, well, I've got interests, she's got interests. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, hobbies really represent a mutual pleasure if you find ones that you enjoy together, and that's what a lot of psychologists talk about when they talk about, a lot of marriage counselors talk about, what do you do together? And a hobby is typically associated with pleasure, not work, and if I'm getting pleasure out of it and you're getting pleasure out of it and we're doing it together, chances are we're going to have a better relationship.
And yeah, I would have to agree with that, and it's so essential that they put it on these dating apps. You will always see what are your hobbies, so that you can unite over having a hobby. Like, I really like roller skating, so I put that on my profile, and I know I would always spark up if somebody actually ice skated or roller skated. It was like a really big plus for me.
Actually, and how about this one? This just occurred to me as we were talking about that, because I was thinking about. I was remembering.
What?
Just hobbies and things that I did with people, friends and family. So memories.
Yeah.
You know, you have these very positive, very connected memories. And again, if you've been doing it with a loved one, you know, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, remember that time
So
that
it's
we...
so you're saying it's nostalgia.
Nostalgia. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Next one, spontaneity.
You know, it's funny, you and I talked about this, actually, I think just after we met, we talked about this. Almost overnight, we decided, oh, let's plan a vacation. I remember you looking at me and going like, oh, so you're spontaneous, aren't you? And I was like, I hadn't really thought about it, but yes, I am. And so what is spontaneity? Like, why is it that we're calling it a love language? Well, because it actually is an expression of freedom, and it's an expression of joy that was hidden a minute ago. So suddenly you can go from a place of like, oh, time to take the garbage out, time to do my taxes, time to whatever, time to make the bed, time to clean the house, to no, I've got something to really look forward to. So spontaneity can really be that.
So it's like, let's screw being an adults right now, and let's just do what we want to do in our heads right now and just have fun.
Yeah. Same thing happened the other week. We were sitting around. We just got back from traveling somewhere. Commuting from somewhere, not traveling. And it was like, yeah, let's go for dinner. And it was fabulous. We had a new restaurant, completely different experience, unexpected, a sudden pleasure that was just not going to be there. Unexpected
pleasure is like you can't even touch that, because from being bored to having this heightened excitement. It's amazing, and that's the person I am. I'm very spontaneous. I've always been spontaneous. The planners are fine, but although I do like planning.
Well, planning for travel, I think, is a little different than, let's say, planning to be spontaneous, right? That doesn't go hand in hand.
Planning to be spontaneous.
Yeah, that's to my mind, that's a little bit of a, you know, spontaneous is when you don't plan and the other person reacts to it, not like, oh, you've been thinking about this all day and talk to me about this all day and let's do it now. It's more like, hey, here's an idea. I think the bigger concept for spontaneity is creativity. And I think if we're happy to be with a person and we're looking for a person that's creative, it's one of those things that just really represents creativity. You can, in the moment, out of nowhere, come up with an idea that was, that again was a hidden pleasure, a hidden joy.
And then it's one of those, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea! You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, right.
Or like on Seinfeld when she always just, what's her name again? Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine would just push people. Like, I was so Team Elaine with that. Whenever I got really excited, I would be like pushing, or I'd like slap somebody, and that's part of my love language is touch and spontaneity.
And actually, I just sort of alluded to it as, and maybe gave it away a little bit, but travel. Travel was one on the list that I know we really agree
And travel
with.
is always on a dating profile. Travel.
Yeah. Yeah. And our belief is it's actually a love language for a bunch of reasons. Again,
you just jump to the next one.
I know.
Okay.
Was it too soon?
I wasn't ready.
Oh,
You're too
I was too spontaneous.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try to plan it out.
I like to be spontaneous, so.
I'll try to plan things out a little bit
please.
better. Okay, are you ready for this one?
Yes. Okay. Travel.
Travel. Okay. Well, obviously there is two aspects to travel. I mean, there's many facets, but there's planning and there's spontaneity. So it's a really interesting one that combines those two things. We've all been in those situations with people that are just too planning intensive for us. They won't let spontaneous things happen. Oh, we didn't plan that. I had planned this today. No, let's not do that because we planned to do this today. And that, I mean, it drives me crazy.
Drives me next level. Next level. I'll go insane.
But if you haven't done the basics, to say, for example, what do we do if we need a car? I have no idea. Is there anywhere to eat when we get to the hotel? I don't know. I have no idea. So there's a delicate balance between planning and making sure that you cover off a set of check boxes. Yeah. And again, I think the sign of what makes it a love language is when you can go evenly between those two places of, okay, so we've got a fallback plan, but oh my goodness, in the moment, let's just walk out on the beach, turn right, and hit the first beach bar on the right that looks like it's got a nice margarita.
And you know what? You're not gonna die. So it's something that two people have to have in common. I really believe
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
You guys can put your comments down below because I know all of you, you've gone on a trip with someone that drives you bananas because they are opposite who you are. So I guess we can be talking about the planner who goes with the spontaneous person. They get driven crazy as well. But we're talking about the person who's spontaneous. And I guess we're equating spontaneous with fun.
With fun. I'm gonna reveal a story that you told me that you probably don't want me to tell, but I'm gonna tell it
What?
anyway. I'm gonna
What?
tell it
Which
anyway.
one?
I'm gonna tell it anyway. Okay, listen up here. Just me. Forget her for a second. So just after we met, after we planned this travel adventure, I think I already told you about. A close friend of hers said, "Are you sure you want to have a trip this soon in the relationship?" And Sandra goes, "Well, what are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, you almost always break up with somebody when you go on that first trip." Okay, so suffice to say, we didn't. And
That's 100% true.
and so that tells you something about the importance of traveling together. And so, like so many things we talk about, doing those things sooner versus later. I mean, is that a bad thing? No, it's a good thing if you can
Get
figure
it
that
out
out.
of the way. Get it out of the way.
Okay, okay. Can we moving right along?
Can we do the next one?
I was going to add a little bit more about travel because there's some things I don't think we've covered yet. Adventure, it's discovery and adventure. I think those are sort of the same things, but being able to do things together that, again, whether it's spontaneous or planned, you're still in a world that is not your world. You're still meeting people, discovering cultures, discovering buildings, architecture.
If that's your thing, because there are some vacations where you just don't want to do the architect thing, you don't want to do the history thing, you just want to go by the beach and just relax,
Right. So whatever that adventure, that discovery plan is, it's something that you're not going to get at home typically. So travel adds that dimension to a relationship that I think is super important.
And you know what, to cut you off,
no.
Hold that thought. Okay, and the other thing that I really like about traveling is that you get the sense of you and the other person against the world, so to speak. Like you guys feel there's a feeling like we're in it together, and let's figure this out together.
Can I call that intimacy?
Yeah. 100%.
Can I call that a really good way to get intimacy? So you're running around the city, you're going back to your job, her job. Whether you got kids involved, families, etc. You go on holiday and you go traveling together. Well, chances are for a good part of that, it's going to be just you and the two of you making decisions. And so the intimacy that you get, and maybe rediscovering intimacy that it's been a while since you experienced. Are we ready to move on to the next love language?
Are we? Okay.
Was that your plan?
Playfulness.
Playfulness. Oh. Yeah, one of the expressions I love to use when you meet somebody that you're really into, and how do you know you're really into somebody? Let me ask it as a question. And by the way, before I give you an answer to this that's related to playfulness, in the comments, I want you to tell me what is it when you meet somebody that you know is a sign that this relationship has legs. Okay. So playfulness to me, one of the things that it's always exciting is when you're laughing with somebody, the sooner the better, you're not thinking about anything else, you're just, go ahead. Your minds are connected, you're like kids. And you're laughing uncontrollably, you've lost your inhibition, you're not self-conscious, and one joke gets into the next one, or one funny expression gets to the next one.
And you know what? You allow each other to laugh freely. There's no, if I tell a joke, is he going to laugh? Is he going to be miserable today? Like, you don't want that expectation when you wake up, especially when you come in from work, when you think of an idea. You're like, you always want it to be nice and light, but that's only if that's a requirement for you, right? And I know I promised myself that I was always going to keep that kid inside happy, bubbly. Didn't matter what age I got to, I was going to keep that kid inside happy because that kid loved to be very mischievous.
Yeah. Okay, and I promise that Sandra is not talking out of school here. She has retained that attribute for sure, and it's really pleasant. It's pleasant to be around. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. And this is the end of part 1, and you'll get part 2 in our next episode. Keep watching. Tell your friends, share, please. Let's do it.